Welcome to Shameless Plugs podcast on this day of few before Valentine's Day. I was going to say Thanksgiving, but...
That would have been the wrong holiday.
It is February and Valentine's Day is upon us, and as someone who loves love as much as I love love...
She does, a lot.
We are here to discuss stuff.
Yes.
So, I am Samantha the writer.
I am J. George.
And it's February.
It is February.
And it's not as cold outside as it has been.
That's true, it is not. And we do not have an ice storm like we did earlier this week.
No, we don't. I think that, the weather report for Cincinnati that no one cares about except for us, it's been like a reoccurring theme on our podcast so far.
Yes.
And I like it.
Represent Queen City.
What?
Anyway.
Yeah, so, in typical Shameless Plugs fashion, we are not going to talk about, like romantic books or anything like that.
Correct.
We're going to buck the system a little bit and just talk about relationships in general.
Yes.
In our writing.
In writing,
yeah. No, not ours.
This is not like a reality show or something.
No,
this is in writing.
I'm married. John's married.
Not to each other.
Nope. To different people.
Yes.
John's married to a delightful lady. And I love my husband.
Steven's a solid dude.
Yeah. I think Leslie's great. She's delightful. And I just
I
want to
know,
hug her all the time.
You say that all the time and
I
you
just
want to hug
her all the time.
Yes. And you get disappointed when she does not attend events where...
I know. I do get sad. I'm like, oh, but I wanted a hug.
Oh.
So, so in the outside of here relationship stuff, there's nothing going on. No.
We're boring married
we're
people.
Boring married people.
Yeah,
so
we both have good relationships. Yeah. We're boring and married, and
it's fine.
Yeah.
But we do have characters in our novels that have relationships.
Yes.
With one another.
Yes.
Or with no one, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I have plenty of characters that don't have relationships.
Yeah, with anybody. And they just do their thing and they're happy.
And then,
or unhappy.
I'm thinking of one character in particular. That's why I had the expression that none of our listeners can see.
No, that was a good thinking expression.
I'm thinking of one character in particular she's a young widow and she's happy with her life, but she's not interested in getting back in something because she still loves her husband. So that's who I was thinking of while I was pausing. But yeah, she is happy with her life.
Yeah, but anyway, when we were chatting about how this episode was going to go, we were kind of coming at it from different angles, but eventually met in the same place, I think.
I think so.
Kind of.
I think so.
So anyway, relationship building.
Yes.
Do you want to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
Relationship building first off, I don't write romance often and probably not all that well. I'll just be honest about it. It is just not my thing. I mean, my main character in my 6-novel series that I am working on has 3 different relationships, and I am not going to go into details, but let's just say one of them fails spectacularly.
Nice.
And then the other 2, I don't want to give too much away, but they all kind of play into the finale. Even though I am not writing romance, it's important in the finale. The influence that those characters play on him is very important to a decision that he makes near the end of the series. And if you're a longtime listener, if you are one of our outlets, you know that the last line in the novel is "Ever been to London?" and the last line in the 6th novel, "Ever been to London?" That is spoken to one of the potential relationships. So relationships, I bring all that up to say not just that I am a insane plotter, but also...
That's very true.
Also that...
Plotters are crazy.
Plotters are not crazy.
Plotters are crazy.
You pantsers make no sense. But anyway, I bring all that up to say that relationships play an important role in what I write, even if they aren't a major focal point for me. They're kind of important in the background. But it's pacing is very Yes, I stammered and stuttered. Pacing is really important in writing a relationship to me because I am, and this very much plays into the way that I look at the real world as a person. I'm not somebody who believes in love at first sight. I don't think that's the way the world and people work. I can buy into attraction at first sight. I mean, whether that's physical or just liking someone's personality, being drawn to them. I can get that. Attraction at first sight, attraction at first meeting, I can get. Love is something deeper than that, in my opinion. It takes a depth of understanding of that other person to get there. So, and I also don't want people to take this the wrong way. I'm not bagging on romance novels here.
No.
I'm not bagging on romance writers. I'm not bagging on romantic comedy movies or anything like that because, trust me, the things that I enjoy, I'm willing to suspend disbelief and say that when a spaceship crash lands in Kansas, the dude who gets out of it can fly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm willing to buy into the fact that you get bitten by a radioactive spider, you get superpowers instead of cancer.
I totally get it. Yeah, it makes sense.
It is not a matter of suspending disbelief because I totally get why people are into romance for a variety of reasons, whether it is the fairy tale aspect, whether it is just the comfort of it, whatever the reason, I get it.
The warm and fuzzies.
The warm and fuzzies. I get it. So this is in no way bagging on that genre or anything else. It's just something that I personally don't enjoy because it doesn't ring true to me. It takes longer for me to write that. I need these characters to know each other and to understand each other in deeper ways for me to really feel like I'm writing a real and compelling relationship. So, I mean, again, this is the plotter in me. The first relationship that spectacularly fails I haven't decided whether that's going to fall apart in the third or fourth novel, but I'm leaning toward late in the third. The other relationships are kind of simmering in the background. One of them starts in the fourth novel and then runs through the sixth, and then the other one is it kind of starts from the attraction starts very early on, but it doesn't blossom into something else until like 3 or 4 novels in also. So, I mean, it's something that I need to take time with. For me personally, I have to take a lot of time because A, it's not at the forefront. It's always in the background, so I need the time for it to be at all fleshed out. But B, also just because the way that I look at the world, it doesn't happen immediately. It doesn't happen overnight. So
I think, though, that you bring up an interesting point because there's that saying out there that fiction has to be more believable than real life.
Yes.
And so when you think about relationships and writing them in a real way that makes sense, not only do you have to incorporate all of the things of attraction, all of the things that are going to push people apart or bring them together, the arguments, the honeymoon period, all of that stuff. Not only do you have to bring that into your writing and into the psyche of your characters, but you also have to make it more believable than a real life relationship for people to feel like it's authentic. So I think the only way that you can do that is to base it on yourself and how you feel about those things, because if you write a character that's like, oh my gosh, I saw Jill and I was like, yeah, Jill, that's not true to who you are as a person, and therefore when it translates into your writing, it's not going to feel real.
People can tell when something is genuine and honest. They can tell when it's something that you believe and you care about. Yeah. So people who have a different philosophy on romance probably could write something believable. I'm not capable of that.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny for all of the loving of love that I do, like running around our office place, just like, having wings when people get engaged and stuff.
Yes. I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, like glitter starts raining down from the sky. I don't know what happens, but I just get really excited. Especially in the world that I'm working in right now, my characters don't actually have a lot of relationships. Like we have friend relationships in the world that I'm working in, but we don't really have anything romantic. And the one that I do have right now, because there might be something else brewing in the background, we never know.
Well, you're a pantser, so
yeah.
tomorrow your novel could turn into like the next 50 Shades for all I know. Because I think pantsers do things like that.
Yeah, so I feel like that would be one of those ideas that I got, and then I would have to just like shove it down like killing my narrator. But anyway, you know, there's, because the overarching theme is this change in the world, the relationship has to change as well. So it's very tumultuous. There's, you know, my two characters are like, yeah, we're together, but there's, you know that they're not. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So like,
right.
I don't know. I did take a foray into trying to write something about relationships a while ago, and I still love it, and I still love the characters that I wrote then. It was realistic fiction, college. Like I said, still love my characters. They were delightful.
Is this the one with the older couple that you told me about?
So yeah, so there's that one. There's the older couple. And that was just like old people love. And old people love is really sweet. Yes. But anyway, no, this was about younger people and, you know, their approach to each other and being people and young, and yeah, they were cool. I like them a lot. They just fell apart for me though. Like, the story just fell apart.
Gotcha.
But I always think about it, and I get in these moods where I'm like, should I go back and hang out with Alexander again? Fictional. He's fictional. He's, you know, not like I have a side thing going on. But I do, like, I think about it, and I'm like, that would be really cool.
My main character is Alexander, so you're not allowed to hang out with him. Just saying. Don't.
I had one, too.
Well, probably not as cool as mine, just saying.
Mine was cool because of other things. He wasn't a superhero.
Well, I think I just won. Anyway.
Played the piano in bars.
Gotcha.
He didn't talk.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
And that's a whole other conversation about characters that we are going to have eventually.
Yes, absolutely.
But, yeah, so, but yeah, when I think about my own writing and the stuff that I'm working on now, I really don't have anything in there, and I couldn't tell you why that is. It just didn't seem natural for my characters, I guess.
No, I get that.
And they, you know, the way that they're built and the things that they're dealing with and the things that they're thinking about are so far from romance that it's just, you know, they're focusing on other things, like whether or not they can see or if they have arms.
Yes.
You know, very important things to think about. Yeah.
Thinking, since you made that comment, it got me thinking about the ideas that I have for the other things that I want to do right now, some of which I've already started kind of fleshing out characters and so on. There's really, like, none of my main characters have anything romantic going on. Like, one of them is married, but the whole story is about his relationship with his kids. It's not really, I mean, his wife is part of it, but she's not the focal point.
Right.
Relationships are important to the main character of my thing now because he's gone so long without having any, and I'm talking friend or any kind of relationships. Right. So relationships are important to him just because he's kind of going back into a world that he's been away from for a long time. But yeah, it's not something that feels natural to me to write.
No. I think there is, you know, there's a lot of things different about the way that John and I approach writing.
Yes.
He plots everything, and that's weird. I just write what I feel, and it's good. But there is, like, I think that
I am giving my normal pantser head shake right now, Outlets. You can't see it, but I'm doing it.
But I do think that is one place that we're similar. I think, like, when we approach the story, it's like, I'm telling this great story, and then that other part of it is just, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't go into a story thinking, oh yeah, these two characters are going to hook up.
Right.
Or I go in and they already have people, which is a whole different thing. You don't have to do any of that awkward
Completely
meeting.
different dynamic.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. Oh yeah, we just met. Awkward.
Yeah.
First date. Ooh,
Yeah.
weird. No, you don't have to do any of that because they already know each other and they already did that, and so they're in a completely different place. And
although I have plans to write the absolute worst first date that has ever happened.
That's right, you do.
You know about this.
I
plan
do.
already,
Yes.
where
It's pretty epic.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be so uncomfortable to write, but it's gonna be so
Oh,
amazing.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be so amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to love it because it's going to make me so uncomfortable writing it that I'm really, really, really hoping that translates to the people who read it.
Oh yeah, no, I think it'll be fun. Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to write that.
The fourth novel? Third
or fourth. Haven't decided which one yet. It's one of those two.
That's so wrong.
No, it's so right.
So wrong.
It's the goalpost. It's my thing to look forward to.
No.
Yes.
No. See, here's the thing. Like, you need to look forward to what comes immediately next.
No.
Just like little hops. Like, boing, boing.
I have those too. It's just I have the next 27 of them planned out.
No. Stay in the moment, in the world. So today is a little bit of a different recording for us because we're recording later in the morning. So
yes. Different vibe, different atmosphere.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, mainly because I've already done some writing this morning, and I made a meringue crust and chocolate filling and whipped cream for a pie that I'm putting together.
Oh, wow.
And
You're done with it all.
And
okay.
I've been to the grocery store, so...
Wow. Wow. It's not that late in the day. You've already done all that. It's before noon, for the record.
It is before noon. Yeah.
It's before 11, in fact, right now.
Yes, it is. So, so I think I'm just all over the place this morning. There's no focus
This episode is kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it is,
It's a little unfocused.
Yeah. Hey, but we're pantsing it. So this is what pantsing is like.
Oh.
We usually plot our episodes just enough to keep us on track.
So when our listeners hate this episode, I can blame pantsing?
No, I don't think they're going to hate it because it's quality information and entertainment.
So I do have a question.
Mainly because we're the best.
We are the best. Best writers in the history of the known universe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
What's
I do
your
have a question for you, going back to our original topic.
Yeah, our original topic.
When you do relationships, how do you build them?
So I actually tend to start off super awkward. Okay. So like if my characters are meeting for the first time.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a question about that. When you say you tend to start off super awkward, do you actually intend? Like, is that part of, I know you don't plan, you don't plot, but do you mean to do that, or is it just kind of a writing tick that you have?
I think it's a writing tick,
okay.
Mainly because a lot of, I haven't had a lot of relationships, but a lot, like the relationships that I did have tended to be kind of awkward in the beginning, so gotcha. I think it's just like a mind, like my brain is wired that way.
Yes.
So that's,
sorry, I interrupted there.
No, you're good. So that's how my characters tend to be when they meet other people. So, like I'll harken back to the one I was working on is called Better. It was my realistic fiction with all of these different relationships going on. But when my one character meets Alexander for the first time, there's this like you said, she's attracted to him. He's a little messed up, but she's really attracted to him. Messed up as in he suffered a head injury and he doesn't speak anymore. That's what I mean by messed up. But he plays the piano. So that's kind of how he communicates. So she meets him at a bar and is just like her initial way of like realizing that she's attracted to him is she's just staring at him, like staring him down, like not in that like but in that like locked on kind of way.
Gotcha.
And the only reason that she realizes that she's doing it is because his then girlfriend goes over to help him clean things up and get after he finishes his act and everything. So like that's kind of what breaks her out of that. And then after that, he walks by and she tries to talk to him, and it's just this very like So if I'm writing one from the beginning, they tend to just be very awkward up front. But like I said, that is pretty much the only one that I've written from the beginning. Most of my characters already know each other. They're already in something.
Okay.
And then the dynamic is then, because they're already in it, I don't have to worry about that. I either have to worry about them moving forward or getting out of it or dealing with something, you know? So I tend to write my relationships that direction, not from the bottom up. But if they do come from the bottom up, they're awkward.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Interesting.
You?
I probably shouldn't have asked you that question because now I have to answer it. But
I am stroking the beard I don't have.
For me, I think it goes back to the pacing and the build-up. It takes multiple interactions, most of which are not at all romantic for me.
Yeah.
And for the record, in no way take this as advice because I really don't feel qualified to give any level of advice on this topic, but they need to have multiple interactions. They need to have multiple interactions that feel authentic and that need to build an attraction over time. Because, like, I'm thinking about the 3 that are in my current series right now. Because, again, I don't write, so I don't really, I don't think I have any other relationships that I've ever written other than the 3 in this one. I have the one character who is married, but there is something that strains that relationship and strains their marriage right off the bat. Like, that's within the first chapter, their relationship gets seriously strained, and the rest of that series, because of course it's not just one story, it's a series, the rest of that series is about him rebuilding relationships with his kids and with his wife. So that one is not from the beginning to, like you said. For the 3 that are in the superhero series that I'm doing right now, all of them, and I had not thought about this until this conversation, all of them start off antagonistic.
That's
like,
interesting.
Literally, he meets 2 of them in the first novel. When he meets the first one, it's literally antagonistic, as in they are competing with one another, and she is completely toying with him, and he completely can't stand her.
Okay.
And that one, again, doesn't pan out for a long time. They are literally enemies, like actually enemies in the novel for a long period of time. With the other one that he meets in the first novel, she is going through a family crisis, and he's not attracted to her at first, or at least he doesn't realize that he's attracted to her at first. He is, but he isn't aware of it. But she wants nothing to do with anybody, not because, like, she's particularly angry at him, but just she is going through a family crisis right now. She's just like, I came here to do something very specific. I want to do it and get out of here. The third one, they have very different religious views, and quite frankly, he thinks that she is insane for believing the things that she believes. So, you know, they none of them start off on a positive note, and it's not that Sam and Diane, we really love each other, but we're masking it by fighting kind of thing. They really don't like each other, except for in one of those cases, like I said, Alex is attracted but doesn't realize it. So I guess I start with hatred, and then
so
not a conscious decision.
No, I hear that. So, I guess when it comes to this kind of stuff, do what feels good.
Yeah, there's your advice.
Do what feels right.
Yeah.
And if you want to start with hatred,
start
with hatred. If you want to make it awkward, make it awkward.
Yeah.
If you want to do love at first sight and then they just, like, go at each other, do it.
Yeah.
It's your story. It's your novel.
If you're a romance writer, that's your focus.
Yay!
You can spend your whole novel building that relationship. So you don't need as much time as I do because it's not my focus.
Right. But
I need 4 novels. I need like 1,600 pages.
This This podcast brought to you by 1,600 pages of John trying. But I think probably the thing that is most important to take away when it comes to relationships is make them real.
Yes.
Use an experience from your life. Use the way that is most comfortable to you to make get them to be authentic.
Right.
You know, because as writers, we get judged for how real we can make a fake world.
Yeah.
So, hey, if your characters are into it and they're real and everything, and you're having a good time, do it.
Or go completely over the top.
Yeah, or that.
If that's the tone you're going for, go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, just make us believe that they love each other. That's all I'm asking for.
I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, I mean,
make us believe it.
Make us believe it. Yeah, because if we don't believe it, then
we're not going to read it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
That was the sound of a book closing.
Yep.
That's what you don't. That's a sound you don't want to hear.
That's right.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't hear it because you're not with people when they're reading your work usually, but
But you might.
Yeah.
You may hear it. But you may be sitting there, and all of a sudden you just hear this and you're like, that was a book closing.
Like, sad face.
But you won't hear that because
if you make us believe it.
Make us believe it. I mean, we'll never hear that.
No, because we're the best writers in the history of the known universe.
Yeah, that's the main reason. I mean, the only time we'll hear that noise is amongst the cheering when people get to the end.
Exactly, yeah. The only time I intend to hear that is when I do a reading in front of my fans and I close the book myself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But even that, it's just going to be a very gentle,
Yes.
Can't even hear it.
No, can't
even hear it. That's how gentle it is.
Because I even close books like a ninja.
Hashtag book ninja.
I think we're about at the end of this episode.
Yeah, I think so. I think we are at the end.
Happy Valentine's outlets. We love you.
Happy Valentine's Day outlets or anti-Valentine's Day if you're going that route this year.
We still love you.
Yeah,
if you're an outlet, we still love you.
Yep, we do.
So.
All right. Well.
That's it. Take care, everyone.
Bye.